I'm a partner at EY. I'm also a member of the board of the African Diaspora Network Group. The African Diaspora Network Group has put this event together today to show our commitment to bring our African diasporans, African Americans, and friends of Africa together. Today, we have a group of distinguished panelists. You've already heard from Sana, who started speaking to us. This group of panelists will address the most pressing topic impacting our Black-owned businesses. The panel will also explore and address some of the fundamental disparities among the African Americans, African communities, with a focus on capital investment, and Sana has started talking about those, employment and entrepreneurship in the pursuit for social and economic justice. So before we dive into this topic, let me share some of my few thoughts as an African diasporan on my reflection on the economic and social justice that most of our African American communities are faced with today. In order to have an appreciation of the economic and social injustice faced by African Americans today, one must understand the sacrifices that African Americans or our forefathers have made to pave the way, not only for African immigrants, but also for others. First, we must understand the history of slavery. Millions of Africans came here to the Americas against their will in the name of slave trade to satisfy the labor needs of their masters. These slaves worked so hard to support the economics of this country. Some courageous men even joined the army to fight during the wars for the freedom of this country. Black women, on the other hand, were forced to breastfeed their masters' kids. Just imagine having that as your job. We also had several activist leaders who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom. Just to name a few, Dr. Luther is one of those who were assassinated, fighting for our freedom. They fought against racism. They fought for justice. They fought for equity. They fought for our voting rights. As a result of their sacrifice, today, we all enjoy the benefits of the Civil Rights Act. We all enjoy the benefits of the 13th Amendment, which abolishes slavery. The 14th Amendment, which gave citizenship and equal protection rights. The 15th Amendment, which gave the right for people to vote, including us, regardless of your color or your race. These are just a few things that our African Americans who came before us have sacrificed for us. I hope you can appreciate these sacrifices and also see the underlying thread here, that the Civil Act leaders, they fought so they can improve economics of all people. Unfortunately, even with all these sacrifices and these amendments, we Black people continue to see very little in any, if any, of improvements on our social or economic status. The question often asked is why? Well, the answer to this question goes back to the Emancipation Proclamation. When the slaves were freed, their owners were compensated for the loss of the free labor. Yet those freed slaves were given no money to start with. So you can even see from the beginning, the playing field was not even. If you were a successful Black man or person at that time, you also often become victim of lynching. So going back, you can see that even Black people, as they tried, they were so behind in terms from economic status. So this institution racism has continued to negatively impact our people. Black-owned businesses, if you look at it today, even in normal times, and Sana was alluding to this, they're more exposed to financially issues. Our Black business-owned businesses don't carry enough reserves to help them to survive or weather the storm. We have seen this happening right now with the COVID-19. COVID-19 has significantly impacted many of our Black-owned businesses. If you look at the coronavirus death numbers, it shows that actually more Black people are dying in most every age group. And the factors could be, back and attributed to the occupation that Black people have, our healthcare insurances that we have, or even the communities we live. All those puts us in a disadvantage. Socially, as you look at today, The injustice have costed us, many of our fathers, husbands, sons, brothers, at the hands of those who were entrusted to protect us. The current events today somehow have created an awareness of how economically and socially Black people are disadvantaged, or the disparities that continues to exist between Blacks and whites. Our people are tired of just hearing words. It has been 400 years, and we have been talking, and yet no action. So in closing, my fellow friends, the time has come for us to walk the talk. To you all, we call so diehard allies. We thank you for your support. And today we call upon you right now to use your power, your privilege you have, the seat that you have at the table to advocate for the investment of Black-owned businesses. Help us change the current public laws that continue to perpetuate the injustice we continue to see. I would say, can we all follow the example of Alexis Ohania, Serena's husband, who has resigned as a board member and have asked for a Black candidate to replace him? He asked himself if his daughter would ask him, Dad, what did you do? He needed to be in a position to say he has done something. Well, my friends, I ask the same question. A month from today, or a year from today, if I were to ask you a question, what did you do? How would you respond to that question? I leave you with this as something that maybe you could think of. Please join us, join ADN today, and let's seize this moment together, which has presented so many opportunities. There's a lot of Silicon Valley corporations who has put a lot of money to say they will help the Black business-owned businesses. For you venture capital investors, please, I urge you to invest into Black-owned businesses. Together, we can change the communities. Thank you.